Happy Tuesday, collective. This is Abundant Lei 118 here on YouTube. Welcome into my channel. Sorry about that. I had to take a quick moment to pause. My phone was getting ready to go off, so I caught it right before it sounded. So I hope you've had a wonderful Tuesday. I've been very energized today. I don't know if you guys are feeling it as well, but I am feeling super energetic, super get up and go energy, very optimistic, very excited. Just very excited. I'm doing things that I haven't done in a while, and I'm starting to feel like myself again, and it feels amazing. So I hope you guys are getting some of that beautiful energy in this beautiful Tuesday. I am going to go ahead and do our collective read. I have my protection mist here. Again, you can get this from Jalissa's messages on YouTube. And I'm going to always shout her out because I love this stuff. Oh, it always smells so great. Okay. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I love to see the comments. I've brought in actually some of my amazing people from TikTok, so if you haven't had a chance, you can check out my TikTok as well. It is also under Abundant Lei. And I see the comments down, and it makes me just so ecstatic to see my channel crossing on both sides. So super awesome. And let me go ahead. Today I'm going to do our Hidden Heart Secret deck, my fave, and then I am going to pull a yes/no question as our clarifier. I'm sorry, not our clarifier, as our extra energy today. Sorry about that. All right, so let me actually break this up and shuffle. And as always, if you hear any sounds, sorry, I just heard someone was just like squealing, I guess. You could think it was one of my neighbors, so it kind of caught me off guard. But if you hear any huffs, gruffs, or moving around, that is just my puppy Pawpaw, who likes to sit in front of me while I do my readings. So all right. Ooh, these are flowing so nice. Ooh, that light just came in a little bit more, so that's exciting. Made me think that something is going to be illuminated, right? So something that you thought had light to it is going to be even more illuminated going forward. That's what I just heard from that. Yeah, it was definitely one of my neighbors. Somebody was knocking at my neighbor's door. Got their puppy excited as well. And we did have a card shootout. I think you guys saw that as well. It did not show itself today, so I'm excited to actually reveal that with you guys. And let me just shuffle this one more time, and I'll go ahead and pull my 3 cards. Ooh, that almost fell out of my hand. I felt it. 1, 2, and 3. All right, let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. Hold on, let me make sure you guys can see that well. Okay, perfect. Ooh, withdrawn. Okay, single, lonely, solitary. Collective, are you feeling a little withdrawn today? I don't feel like I've been withdrawn, so that's okay. We're not always in the same space when you pull the energies. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not, and that's okay. We're all at different stages. But if you're feeling a little withdrawn, I actually can say I'm enjoying this card. It just looks, it kind of reminds me of the Hermit card. So it's like I'm alone, but not actually lonely. Even though lonely is on the card, I'm getting more of the I'm alone, not lonely, meaning I'm choosing to be more withdrawn. I'm choosing to be more solitary. I'm making a decision to focus in on me. So if you are feeling a bit withdrawn, I feel like it's definitely more of a like healing energy than it is a like a isolation because of like a trauma. And I say that specifically because sometimes when you get those isolated type of cards, they give you that feeling of like you're isolating because ... like something's happened to you and that's why you're isolating. That's not what I'm getting here. I'm getting more of, I'm isolating more to connect to myself. So it's a really positive energy. And the reason I said it is because the first thing I noticed was the beauty of the background, right? Of the view of like almost like this sunset, sun rising energy. And this man is sitting on top of a rock in a meditative like pose. So not necessarily that he's out here lonely, isolated, and keeping himself from people, but more like he's truly connecting to earth, connecting to self. He's up before the sun rises or right when the sun is setting. So he's at a transition phase in his life. And in that transition, he's connecting more to self. So I hope that resonates and connects to you, because that really got to me. Sorry, I just saw something on my desk. Had to move that out the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at our cards here. Move this one out the way as well. Sorry, I had my rotary. I want to move that over. Okay, sorry, give me one. Just want to make sure you guys can actually see the cards as I pull them out. Okay, so this was our jumping card. I'm gonna pull that at the end. So let's go with our first energy here. Oh, rejection. So abandoned, dismissed, and irrational fear. I'm gonna focus in on that irrational fear. Again, with the drawn card, see, look at that. I picked it up and underneath it was beginnings. So try again, new direction, start over. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there may have been something that you felt was a rejection. See, the light just came back in again. Okay, so again, remember I kind of spoke in the beginning about something being illuminated, that something you thought you were seeing, the light comes on and you see it more clearly. So I'm thinking that in the past, you felt rejected, collective. You felt really rejected. You felt really isolated. You felt really almost like pushed to the side, cut off. And I don't think that energy was actually what the situation was, with the light constantly kind of coming in and going out, coming in and going out. It's almost like you're seeing things, but the energy around it is not exactly what you think it is. You feel like it's one thing, but it was something completely different. So I feel like that, because I focused in on the irrational fear portion when I saw rejection. I don't feel like you've been rejected. I feel like that was the fear behind everything, and maybe that originally triggered you to withdraw, right? You were withdrawing because you were trying to create a new like start over, right? You wanted that new beginning. You wanted to start over in something, right? So you may have pulled away, or someone pulled away from you, and you took that as a rejection, but I don't feel that it was actually this person rejecting you. I feel like that was your fear around it. Now, again, I can't always speak to what the cards are showing, right? We see withdrawal, we see rejection, and we can say, okay, somebody rejected you and it made you want to withdraw yourself because, right, these are both past energies when you see that. But as I said, I look at the cards and I'm an intuitive reader. So I go by what I feel, what I'm drawn to, what connects to me. And that's not necessarily what I'm getting from these cards. Her eyes are covered. So even though the light is there, right? The light is there because we can see it shining on her face. Where it comes to her eyes, it's dark, meaning she may not be able to see as well because there's a bit of a shadow over her eyes from her hat. So things might just be a little bit blocked out from her view, okay? And that's what I mean by when I'm reading intuitively, that's how I see things. I see things from the sense of what stands out to me. I might see this card in a completely different reading and get a completely different energy from it. From this today, I'm getting more of, you're not seeing clearly. Something is kind of blocking the light from your eyes, so what you're seeing is a little bit more distorted than you think it is. And so I feel like that rejection was definitely more a fear than it was the reality of the situation. All right. Yeah. So in the current, there's some bitterness around this, resentment, anger, hurtful words. I'm definitely telling you guys, I definitely feel like this was a fear-based thing. So maybe you or the other person felt rejected in the past, and it led to, in the current, there was a bit of bitterness, right? And like I said, that withdrawing. So maybe because, like I said, these cards are kind of telling one story, but these cards are telling something completely different. These are both dark cards, right? So maybe one person felt rejected, felt bitter, right? But in reality, that was not the situation. That person was not rejecting you. Okay? They were going in to do some internal healing. They were working on themselves. They were trying to give themselves a new chance, a new start on life. And not in the sense of they were trying to hurt you by doing it, but more that they were just trying to heal themselves. They may have had their own things. We sometimes forget that we live in a world where the people around us are in their own world. It's how sometimes you can be walking on the street and you're having a rough day and someone bumps you and you're just like, oh my goodness, like how could you not see me, right? But realistically, you already had feelings of feeling small, and that person bumping you might have been in their own world where they were so focused on what was happening in their head, they didn't even realize proximity to other people because they didn't even realize there was other people there. You know, sometimes you're so deep in your own ish that you're just wandering. And we forget that sometimes. We forget that sometimes you're so hyper focused on something that you are completely isolated from the reality of what's happening around you. And that's what I feel like this was. So for one person, there's definitely this feeling of like not seeing things clearly. Like I said, I'm highlighting the colors. I'm noticing the darkness of these colors. And in both pictures, if you can see it as well, eyes are not fully illuminated. Just how I spoke to on this card as well. That there's something about the eyes having a dark shadow around them, seeing that things are not being seen as clearly as they could be. Sorry, I did have an alarm just go off. So things are not being seen as clearly as they could be, right? If the light changed just a little bit, if things were just illuminated slightly a bit, like kind of how I just did with my iPad here. If you put just a little bit more light on it, now you can see things just a little bit better. You get a much clearer image. Whereas if it's a little bit further back, it's darker, right? It's kind of like it's trailing where my hand is going a little bit, and then it's creating more shadows. So that's kind of how I'm seeing this. There's one person in this connection who's more like this, who's more like, it seems like I'm cutting you off, or it seems like I'm isolating from you, or I'm pushing you back. But in reality, I'm just kind of focusing on my own self-growth, my own connection to self and to spirit, to the universe. You know, what is the bigger picture of my life? I realize I'm just a small piece in this ginormous world, right? So somebody's having this like awakening energy happening, and the other person is feeling rejected, feeling isolated, feeling, hurt. And that's not what's happening here. It's just perspective. You're looking at the situation from a more ego-based space where you feel hurt. And there's nothing wrong with that. Please don't think that because I'm saying that and kind of saying it in contrast to the other person that means that I feel like there's something wrong with that. We all go through different stages, and we all deal with experiences completely different, and that's normal, right? There's reasons why we have stages to grief and to anger and to sadness and to frustration, because there's different peaks that you have to kind of experience to fully understand the emotional states of being a human, right? We're here having a human experience. So as you experience, sometimes rejection and bitterness are there to teach you something. Maybe there's areas in your life where maybe you were the one rejecting and creating a trail of bitterness in other people. And sometimes you now have to endure that. And it's not something that, like, I truly believe that we experience whatever we feel we need to experience. We have to be wise enough to recognize that, and then we can change the outcome of our reality. whatever that reality is. We can always change it for ourselves. And I feel like that's what's happening here. One person is going through this spiritual awakening that's opening them up to look at the world and realize that they're in their world, they're the center, but in other people's worlds, the other people are the center. And that perspective is giving them this awakened new energy. Like, you notice it's these beautiful like pinks, and this one has greens, but it's like in here it's like these dark purples and blues, and it's like colors that signify the higher areas. Like, I can almost see all the chakra colors here, right? So it's like this growth coming from the root and going all the way to the crown of you just learning yourself. And it's okay wherever you are in this, whether you're the person that's currently feeling a bit bitter because of whatever happened here, or you're the person in this awakening energy. And if this is just you, and maybe in the past and kind of a bit in the present, these have been energies, but you're starting to see this and recognize this, it's beautiful. Wherever you are, the growth is happening, and it's a beautiful place to be. All right, let's see. Okay, so our final card is return, second chance, opportunity, making amends. Somebody wants to come back in. I told you guys, where you thought there was rejection, it was not rejection. This person was not rejecting you. That's why they want to return. This person was on their own energy healing journey. They were awakening to themselves. They were connecting to themselves, to spirit, to the collective. They were going under the process of really understanding who they were. There was a bit of ego death. And as I said, if this was you, you have gone through this ego death. You have faced rejection. You have faced bitterness. And now this with withdrawn here, you have learned to isolate yourself, but not in the sense of isolating to harm yourself, but more to heal yourself. And now you're returning back to the world, right? Now you are coming back a new project, right? This is a brand new thing. This clay is of the earth, right? And you can shape it into anything you desire, whatever the outcome is. And I feel like that's what's happening in the future. You found your power. You experienced this rejection, this bitterness, and that led you to find out you have the ability to create whatever you want from the clay you're given. And that clay is you. You get to mold and shape your world, your reality, even your body. If it has to do with your body, it's you shaping it into whatever you want it to be. And nothing will ever stop you from that. You can have whatever you want. You can create whatever you want. And like I said, if this is about two different people, where you may have felt rejected by this person, there was no rejection. You just weren't seeing things as clearly as you could. And I think it was honestly because this person, if we do look, this person is kind of sitting in darkness, right? So I think this person's own darkness was causing the blindedness for you. You couldn't see through everything because this person was sitting in darkness. But as this person returns, I actually see them coming in and clearing up the chaos and the confusion that was here. They're going to make, I won't say it's going to be something that like, as soon as you come back, it's just like everything is easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Not necessarily, right? If you've done any type of work with pottery and things of that nature, making anything, you know it's a process. It takes time. But I want to say that the time that is dedicated to this is going to be very much well worth it. I think the connection that comes from this return is stronger. I feel like the air bubbles are gone. So all the gaslighting, if there was any of that, all of that stuff is finally clear. I feel like there's, you know exactly what you're making. You know exactly what you want in the end. And so now it's literally just you putting all the pieces together, taking your time with it, and just enjoying the process. And I truly see this being something that is absolutely beautiful in the end. I'm not someone that always sees like people coming back in to be something, you know, sometimes kind of like, you know, you give that person a chance. And so if they don't show up, you know, it's okay to move on and just let it go. And like, you don't necessarily need to keep seeking answers from that person or seeking closure and things of that nature. Just because I feel like we put so much time and energy into things that really truthfully won't matter to us when we're older, and once, you know, we've had so many more experiences in life. But in that moment, it felt so much like it was the end of everything. And I'm getting a lot of confirmations from my phone. So I'm seeing that type of energy of like, please do know, whatever this was, it really is something beautiful, and there is going to be a beautiful new beginning between you and this person. I'm seeing shocking and depth, and then distracted thinking. Yeah. Shocking, depth, and distracted thinking. So I feel like maybe how deep this connection goes will shock you. And I think that this was something that you guys dealt with in the past, was a very distracted thinking. Like, everybody was thinking in this very, like, when it came to like how things were, the thought process behind it was kind of outside of the ball. I guess that's how I'm kind of hearing it. But like, things were not the way that they should have been. Like, the way you were thinking of things was very, again, blocked, very restricted. There we go. That's what I was trying to get out. The thinking behind it was very restricted. And I think this time it's much more lighthearted, crystal clear. And I say that just because when I'm looking at this plant here, it's giving me spring. And to me, spring is light, it's airy, it's floral, it's a very gentle time, right? Even though we know spring can be heavy in rain, so a lot of emotions and things of that nature. But most times when we kind of look at like the way that spring is set up, it's always these very bubbly, fun, light energies. And that's what I kind of feel like this time it comes in way more light, not as heavy and dark and confusing. It's just a lot clearer than it was the last time. And here's why. This person's going to make a confession. If you've noticed, these energies, right? This matches this energy, right? With all the darkness of the cards. But if you notice, this person is also they have on like a tannish colored robe. So do you see how it's all connected? This person is wearing a tan robe where there's still, like I said, there's this black gray casting to the card. But then there's also this era of like, there's light in here from this future card, right? This tan, the colors, I told you, something with the colors that always stand out to me, and shades and things of that. So this was our card that hopped out, and I told you guys I love to use these as kind of like a clarifier, and that is exactly what it is. We're going to get confessions here. This person is going to unveil coming clean and messages. They're going to communicate with you. And I think this communication is what allows you to change that bitterness and that rejection energy. You realize that that was never what it was. It was never this person trying to reject you. It was never this person trying to hurt you and make you bitter and make you, they weren't trying to hurt you. They were just experiencing something, and it was something that they didn't even know how to put words to at the time. And now, as they come back, or as you two kind of come back to each other, it's a much brighter place than it was before. I feel like you both are much lighter. You both are much more silly, and just, you can laugh at life more than maybe in the past. I definitely feel like in the past, there was a lot of heaviness of feeling just defeated, and that's gone now, right? I feel like part of it is going to definitely, these confessions are going to help make it something that you both laugh at and kind of laugh at yourselves together. And I like that. I like that you laugh at yourselves together. So we both can laugh at how silly it was for us to act and behave in this way, or to feel these thoughts and these feelings, when we both know the truth that nothing like that would have ever truly happened, that we would have never truly thought of each other in that way, but just maybe our egos got bruised. Maybe because there wasn't enough communication. It's so easy to let the mind run wild and create its own narratives. And I think having that clear understanding between each other is just going to make things that much more amazing for you too. Okay. And again, this does not have to be romantic. It can definitely be a family member, a friend, anything like that. So don't think just because I kind of went the more romantic route that means that it has to be that. It doesn't. It can definitely be someone else. All right, let me go ahead and get this final card. Those cards just like decided they were just going to have a mind of their own for a moment. All right, and we're going to go ahead and do our yes/no question. Oh, something shut out. So you got 2, and I'll put 1 more. All right, let's get that question. All right, so I'm going to have you close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, hold it, and we're going to release. Okay, I hope you have a question in mind, and I'm going to go ahead and flip our first card, and then with that bonus card, I'll give you a second question, so we'll take another breath and then release, and then we'll do the second one. So for the one I actually pulled, the answer is, the time has come for you to pick a side. Ooh. So you're going to have to choose, collective. You're going to have to choose. Are you going to accept that things may not have been as you've seen them, right? If you're going to decide that you want to, you want to stay in the way that you were feeling prior to, right? You can't serve 2 masters at the same time, right? It's that whole thing about, the 2 wolves. One is a wolf that does bad, one is a wolf that does good. Which wolf wins is the one that you feed. You have to choose. You have to make a decision. So if you're kind of on the fence of something, the universe is telling you, you have to finally decide, is this a yes or a no? Because the universe only responds in yeses or nos. And if you're in the middle on something, then the universe can't answer your question for you. They can't give you what you're asking for because you keep straddling the middle. The universe only responds in yeses or nos. And sometimes when you're honestly, not sometimes, all the time, straddling the middle is going to give you a no for this moment. So the yes was always given to you, but you're going to get a no in the moment because you're still unsure yourself. So it's time for you to decide. Okay, let's do our second question. Take a deep breath in. We're going to hold. Release. All right. Hope you got your question together. We're going to go ahead and pull. Best not to proceed until you know more about the situation. All right. So that one is going to actually say the universe is telling you you need to give it a bit of time before you make a decision on this second question, right? So maybe that's why you're having a problem choosing sides, because maybe you don't feel like you have enough information yet. And that's okay, right? You still need to make a choice, but maybe it's a time where the universe is saying, you know what? I want you to make a choice, but I want you to make an educated choice. So if you're going to make a choice, you need to first make sure you've done your best to understand everything that's happening before you choose a yes or a no, or before you're clear of what you want. I think sometimes that's the bigger piece to it. Is it's hard for us sometimes to make a clear decision and not straddle the fence when we really don't have all of the information, right? I don't know what topic I want to talk about if I don't even know what are all the requirements for the topic I'm speaking on, right? So it's something like that where you need more information to make a decision. But once you have everything you need, it's going to be time for you to actually make a decision and stick to that decision. Don't allow the universe to have you wavering. Stick to it and focus in on what you want. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful, fabulous Tuesday evening. I love you very much. Mwah. Be blessed and be a blessing. Bye.